object-oriented programming, we learned about contracts. Contracts are nothing but, as we learned, they are interface. So in the contract, there are interfaces. And one more important we learned is we can have rules for properties and methods. And we can have optional rules. We can have optional rules and we can have read-only rules. Read-only rules. Optional rules and read-only rules. So these points already we discussed. So what is a contract and why we need contracts? I explained a simple overview on that. And the optional rules, because to design goals, we have to use these optional rules. Read-only rules means, so once they are initialized, they cannot be reassigned. Once initialized, they cannot be reassigned. That is read-only rules. And another point about contract is extending contracts. So this is important, extending contracts. Extending contract is nothing but technically. So you can extend existing contract. So by adding new rules, you extend existing contract by adding new rules. So how we can extend that? So how to extend the contract by adding the new rules? So it is nothing but, so simply we have interface, and the interface we have some version 1, and this have certain rules. We have some rules, and what we can do is, without disturbing this, we can create another interface. This is version 2. This can extends version 1. It is nothing but inheritance, right? That means, so it supports three things, all the three things: single inheritance, and it supports multi-level inheritance, and it supports multiple also. Contracts will support multiple also. Interface will support multiple inheritance. They support multiple inheritance. So it have single, we have multi-level and multiple, all three. So that is generally extending the contracts. So let's see one example here. Suppose we are creating an interface. Suppose HDFC, some bank. So version 1. In this, so we have like personal. It is a string type. We have like NRI. So that is also a string type. Right? Now, what we want is, we need another interface, HDFC Bank version 2. It is having some new feature like loans. And it is a string type. Now, this loans is in addition to these two things. That means now this version can extend this version. So simply we can define extends HDFC Bank version 1. That means now through this you can access all of them, the previous version and the next version. Now the question here is, why you are doing like this? Why can't you add this loan into this one only directly? Why cannot you add the new rule into the existing contract only? Why you are developing multiple versions? What do you say? Any technical term you have for this to achieve what? There is a technical term for this. Question understood now? That means why you are not making change in that existing contract? Why you are creating a new contract? In that new contract, you are adding new feature. And you are extending the old ones also. Why can't you directly make change in the first contract only? What do you say? Here there is nothing code reusability because this is just inheritance rules. These are interfaces. These are just interfaces. They don't have any data to reuse or anything. So why you are reusing? That is not a point at all, right? Directly make changes into that one. Why you are developing another version doing this? Any technical answer do you have for this? Any technical answer for this? Do you have any technical answer for this? That means here the question here is, so the question is why we need to extend existing contract. Why we need to extend existing contract? Why we cannot make change in existing contract? What is the answer? Actually, this is very technical and important term. So actually, this is to achieve backward compatibility. You heard about backward compatibility? To achieve backward compatibility. Have you heard backward compatibility means? Already I told you now React 18 is backward compatible. Backward compatibility means that means it supports old features also. You can run on old version devices also. For example, see, why we are extending contract, why we are not making change in that? Because, so technically concept is, suppose we built an here version 1. In this we have personal and in this we have NRI. Now this is installed on a PC, any device, and they are using it. That means a client is using this version. Now you have developed another version 2. In that we have loans. Along with all these previous version options, because it extends version 1. Now very important is this client don't want the new feature that you added. He don't want the new feature you added. He just want to use the previous features. He is satisfied with them. Whatever the new feature you developed, he don't want that. That means now if you are making change in this existing version, you are forcibly asking to use him. but he don't want that because he will use only when he need that. That means current Windows version is Windows 11. You may be still using Windows 10. If I ask why you haven't updated to Windows 11, then you will say that why should I update? Because some new features are there. I don't want them. I am satisfied with my work. I am satisfied with these features. I don't want those new features until or unless those are mandatory features like some security patches. Right? In that case, I will update. Otherwise, I will use old version. Just like latest version of React is 18, but companies are still using 16, 14, 15, 17. Why? They don't need new features. They already started a project. They already supporting that project, and client don't want any new features introduced. It's enough continuing with old. Then we will use the old version. So you should not disturb existing versions. So this is called backward compatible. Backward compatibility. To achieve backward compatibility, we need extensing contracts. Because now what happens? So see, two things are there. One is I am creating bank app. This bank app is a legacy. Legacy means old. Then what it will use? It will use HDFC version 1 contract. Understood? According to that, it will have personal. Personal is some personal banking. And it will have like NRI. NRI is like NRI banking. Like this I define. Now somebody wants new, then he will use here the bank app. So bank app. This is like modern. And it uses HDFC Bank version 2. In that case, according, we must have all the old features, right? Along with that, some new feature. What is it? Loans. So that is like car, bike, house, like this, home loans, like this. I defined some option. That means now people may choose which version they want to install. They can choose which version they want to install, either the new or the old. So that means we can choose the versions. So we can design an interface. User selects which version. You see several websites. Means any software, they will say that you can install any older version. Right? That means I don't want to update to the new version. I can still use the older version. So in that case, we should not disturb the existing contract. We have to extend the contract. Extend the contract. That is the intention actually. Right? So here, this is one simple example. Syntactically to make you understand. Right? What is single and what is multi-level and what is multiple. Multi-level is nothing but if an extended contract is again extended, that is multi-level. And suppose you create so an interface. This is bank app. It is an interface. And in this interface, we are having, suppose, we are having bank name, and it is a string type. And this bank app can extend. So HDFC version 1, HDFC version 2. We can have multiple. That means now the modern options, they can simply use that bank app. They can use the bank app. In that case, we need to add one more feature extra. What is it? Bank name. Bank name is some HDFC. Right? That means you can have multi-level or you can have multiple. So multiple means, so a single contract can extend multiple contracts. Then it will use all the features of that. a hierarchy and multiple. So contracts will support that. So this is multiple. This is just syntax example. Implementation in examples means we have to design a page. There we have to use these objects and configure and work with them. For that, lot of work is there. So our intention is to not to implement in HTML, just to understand the concept. Later, whenever we need, we can use that in our applications, right? Currently, if you have to try this in HTML, lot of logic you have to do, lot of configurations you have to implement and define. For example, see, if you want to try these in your applications, like for example, I will just use this option. Just I will keep the previous one. This is using which one? So HDFC bank version 2. Then you don't need this bank name. I will remove this. Okay, so I will remove this one. Okay, I'm just using these two, basic version 1 and version 2. If I want to implement this in our HTML page and practice that here, you see what we do. So first, actually, this we have to configure into JavaScript. We need to translate now. So, and open in terminal TSC. What is it? Index.ts. We are transcompiling this. So we are transcompiling. After transcompiling, okay, now close. The next, you can see it is translated now. You see there are no interfaces. Directly only two objects. One is a legacy app, another one is a modern app. Directly objects, no interface, because there is no interface in JavaScript. That means it will provide these two according to the contracts. Then what we have to do in index.html, suppose I want to use this, then what we have to do? So we have to create a simple HTML document, head, title, some index, and here we will put a script. So the script source is /src/index.js. Now this is having two objects. It is having two objects. So we have to import those objects and use them. That means we have to write a lot of approach here, script. Now here we will write here copy body section, right? In the script, so body, I will just keep temporarily on load, body load. Later we can design. Just here I am using function body load. On body load, what we have to do is we have to get these two objects, bank legacy, bank app modern. That means, so we have to just use those variables, bank app legacy. That means I am just printing, suppose console.log. So I will put here the options like bank app, so binding expression, bank app underscore legacy dot. We have an option called personal property. Personal, like this I am defining. Just I am printing the details, right? I am printing the details. Actually, this is not correct process, because just I am just configuring that. Means just to verify and display those details here. Console here, you can see. So here, personal banking, it gets the text and display. But actually what we do, we create an interface for that. Personal, it gets that personal banking, it's do. So we don't write on any body load or anything. Generally, I'm keeping here just a simple drop down. In that we have an option, so version 1, and we have another option, that is version 2. And these options will have an value. So value as VER1. Here also we have a value as VER1. And we will put a button here, say install, right? Install. And here I will put a option, select bank app version. And this is the basic design actually. Select bank app version. And they can choose any version 1 or version 2 and install. And I need to, on this button click, I have to get features. So that means we will write a function. So get features. That means I need to get here. We have to get var. So version is equal to document.query selector. Query selector. Query selector is nothing but that select is drop down dot value. We are accessing the drop down value. And here we are using a simple switch. Into that we will pass the version. We will put a case. Case is if version is VER1, what should happen? I want to display those details. So somewhere in a paragraph. In the paragraph, I want to display those details. That means document.query selector. What is it? Paragraph dot inner HTML. We have to print in that inner HTML. I will put here details. Details is nothing but I will add features. What are there? That means this is version 1. Version 1 means bank app underscore legacy dot personal. That is 1. In the next line, I want to print bank app legacy dot NRI. These two features are there inside it. That is end break. So, and similarly, if it is version 2, then what we will do is this is modern, right? And in the modern, we have one more extra. Another, we have, what is it? So we have bank app modern dot, we have loans. That is. Now what we are doing here, just we are selecting which version and install, it will get that. So loans, some spelling wrong. Loan. So we given this loans is a string type only, right? Loans only. Modern loan, right? Loans only, right? Here we have loans. Modern dot loans. So let's check once. Version 2. Here we have to change, right? Value is same coming. I will select version 2, it will get all the 3. I select version 1, it will get only these 2. This is the purpose actually. That means why we need to extend, why we cannot replace, because we need to provide a backward compatibility. In that case, we need to build in this way, right? And this is not at all required. I just showed you, right? You just need to, you don't need any HTML things to do. You need to just understand that this is how we manage extensibility. Inheritance. That means this is how we handle inheritance, right? Why you are extending without replacing, right? Why you cannot put only one? Why you are extending, right? That is because without disturbing the existing versions, we need to provide new versions. So that is what actually the facility is. This is concept. That means you can say like this, what you can do. Example, I will give here. First, so index.ts. In that index.ts, this is the program we written. After that, second, we have to compile. So that is tsc index.ts. Then we have index.html. In HTML, I designed, right? This is extending contract. We need a contract and why to extend the contracts. Contracts and their extensibility. Extensibility is important, right? This about contracts in O. So anywhere interface means the purpose of interface is designing of contracts. And here what you learned additionally is optional rules, read-only rules, and extending the contracts, how we can do, right? Next important here in OOP languages, we need to know about class. So TypeScript class little bit different from JavaScript class. We have class in JavaScript also. Class basics already I explained once. When we discussed about class components and function components, I explained that in a scenario, you know already. But here extra is actually what you should know additionally is, what is a class you already know. What is a class? Class is a program template. Class is a program template. And I told you in the components concept itself that class can have class members. Class can directly have, it can directly have what? Property. It can directly have method. It can have an accessor, and it can have a constructor. So only these members can be directly in a class. Class members means only these. Already I told you, if anybody asks, can we define a variable in class? So that means actually no. Variable cannot be a directly class member, right? So, but it can be inside the method of class. Those points we learned. Why it is not allowed? Why variable is not allowed in a class? Because it is immutable. We discussed that. Huh? I told you those points. So property, method, accessor, constructor, these things are common about class. There is no change. So I will not waste time in this because already we know JavaScript class and we know class members. Property, what is property, what is method, what is accessor, and what is constructor. These things already we discussed. But additionally here is actually TypeScript class can configure static and non-static members, which is not there in JavaScript. Can configure static and non-static members. TypeScript class can configure static and non-static members. Now the question is, what is static and what is non-static? Tell me what is static and what is non-static. What is static? What? It cannot be changed. If cannot be changed, then it is called read-only. No? Then what is difference between read-only and static then? What is static and what is non-static? What you know about static and non-static in object-oriented programming? Static, non-static. No. Actually, you should know a simple point that generally you should know that the terms usually, it's not. I'm asking what is static and non-static. I'm not asking how they are accessed. Because many OOP learners' answer is static members are accessed by class name. I don't care how they are accessed. How they are accessed is not my question. What they are, that is my question. Right? How they are accessed, why you are telling that? My question is not that. Question is what is static, not how it is accessed. But majority people's OOP learners answer about static is it is accessed by class name. Non-static is accessed by object. Right? How it is accessed, why you are telling that? That is not question at all. Actually, to understand this point architecturally, you should know that the word static and non-static, these are related to memory. Memory. The terms static and non-static, these terms are actually related to memory. That means actually memory, so we have static memory, we have static memory, and we have non-static. Non-static means dynamic. We have non-static, or you can call it as dynamic. What is the difference of these two memories? What is static memory? What is non-static? Actually, generally, suppose in static we have S is equal to 0, S is equal to 0 plus 1, S plus 1. Okay. That is one expression we have. And here in non-static, N is equal to 0, N is equal to 0, N plus 1. Here both concepts are same. Increasing the value by 1 and storing in the reference. Now what happened is, we have a class. Now for this class, we are having these two members. S is a member and N is also a member. But S is a static member. So static members are defined with static keyword. And non-static are without static keyword, all are non-static. Now what happens is, now for this class, the memory is allocated into two portions. One is static, another non-static. That means now these static members are kept in static memory, non-static members are kept in non-static memory. What is the nature of this is actually, see, suppose now we created an object obj1. We created an object for this class. So for demo class, we created one object. Now it will go and use this memory, static memory. And it will also use this non-static memory. Now, in the static memory, what this object does is, it will make S equal to 0 plus 1. After making 0 plus 1, that means S equal to 1. After modifying the value S equal to 1, now it will keep that memory and it will continue this for the next object. That is the nature of static. It will keep this and it will continue for the next object. So whereas N, what happens is, N is equal to 0 plus 1, then N is 1. After it finished using this, it will reset the memory. It will reset the memory. That means it will clean up. That means technical definition is static. It refers to continuous memory. It refers to continuous memory. Static means continuous memory. Now, I will tell you so many points. First, what is non-static means? Non-static means it refers to discrete memory. Discrete memory means disconnected memory. Static refers to continuous memory. So, architecturally, technically, experienced people's answer must be continuous memory and discrete memory. Not it is accessed by class name, it is not modified. These are all kids' answers about OOP learners, right? Because even in CBSE 10th grade also, CBSE syllabus 10th grade, they have Java, right? CBSE 10th grade have Java. That means even a 10th class student knows OOP concepts, but he is not a software architect. His definitions and our definition should not match, right? Because you are not school grade student. Your definitions should be architectural definitions, not school grade definitions, right? That means static, non-static is not about how they are accessed, it is about how the memory is allocated. Static uses a continuous memory and non-static uses a discrete memory. That means the point here is, see, so for object 1, S equal to 1 and N also 1. Now you created another object for the same class. So that is obj2. For the same class, you are creating another object. So obj2. Now, this will use the static memory and non-static memory. Now, the static memory is continuing from the previous object. If it is continuing from the previous object, then it will be S equal to 1 plus 1, it is 2. But here again, it will be N is equal to 0 plus 1. That means it is 1. And it is 1 only always. That means for object 2, S value will be 2 and N value is 1 only. That is how the point is. That means static means continuous and non-static means discrete. Very important is now the behaviors we will tell here. Now the behavior is actually static members are defined by using static keyword. They are defined by using static keyword, and they are accessed within class or outside class by using class name. That is their behaviors. They are accessed. And very important, static uses more memory. Here I will tell you the point. That means here we will discuss the key concept. That means now as a software developer, how you will decide that for this member I have to declare a static member. Now in software development, as a developer, tell me when you will decide that this member should be static. How you will decide that this must be static, this must not be static. I will tell you one example here, a simple example for that also here. Actually, we have some database. And we have an application. This application is having some insert, update, and delete. We have 3 objects. Insert object for inserting, update object for updating operations, delete 3 objects, 3 different functionalities. But before insert, update, delete, first they must connect. Right? That means insert object, update object, delete object, before doing those, they must connect. Now, I will make this connection as static. I made this connection as static. Then what happens is, when insert clicked, it will connect and it will perform insert. After that, connection continues. Now update need not to create connection again. Update need not to create connection again. Object one already created, and update have to just use the connection. Delete have to use this connection. This is continuous. This is good because you don't need to connect every time. This is bad. If I don't want update and delete, connection still remains in memory. It is not safe. It using more memory. For example, you logged into Gmail. You haven't signed out. Close browser. You still logged in. You can do all your operations with single time login. But if I use this type of connection, that is static connection. If I use this type of connection in bank transaction, you are using PhonePe transfer. You transferred amount to a person. Just immediately to the same person, you have to transfer another amount. Then every time it will ask password. Why cannot it continue the previous transaction? It's not safe. It disconnects. That means your transaction finished, disconnect. Another transaction finished, disconnect. That means this time, the connection is not static, it is non-static. So now as a developer, when you will decide you need a static member or non-static member. When we need continuous operations, then we design static. When we need discrete operations, then we design non-static. That means which member should be static or non-static, that we decide according to the operation type. So if you use a non-static connection in Gmail, then what happens? He checked first mail, it shows. After that, sign out. Second mail, again login. Third mail, again login. That's not correct. That means we need to keep the connection continue until he closes. That is what actually the concept of static and non-static. Static and non-static is about how you want to carry out the operations and memory, right? Not about how they are accessed, right? How a developer decides that now I need a static, now I need a non-static. That depends on this, right? Now discrete memory means it is disconnected in access. So that means memory is newly allocated for every object, for every object, right? That is non-static, and they are accessed. Non-static are accessed within class by using this, and outside class by using instance of class, object of class, not class name. Static members are accessed by class name, inside or outside, but non-static are accessed. So within the class, this, and outside the class by using instance. Let's see one example to prove this point, that static is continuing, non-static is not continuing, right? We will prove this. Let's see. We will create here in this index here. I am using class demo. In this we have static s is equal to 0. N is also 0, non-static. We have a constructor. In this constructor, at the time of creating object, demo.s is equal to demo.s is static. And this dot n is equal to this dot n plus 1. This is non-static. We will use a print method. And this print method should print console.log s is equal to the value of demo.s. and we have to print n is equal to the value of this dot n. That is option. Let's create obj1 for new demo for the class. Through obj1 I am printing first object finish. I will create obj2 and new demo same for same class second object, and obj2 dot print second object printing. I will create obj3 is equal to new demo and obj3 dot print. Now all three objects are independent. Now let's run this and see. So I will open this here. Just for your convenience sake, what I am doing is I am opening this in a Explorer, just to show you on a new screen. Otherwise not required. Test internal tsc index.ts, and we will compile this, and we will compile node index.js, and you can see that s is continuing but n is resets every time. Three different objects, but static is continuing. First object memory continues to second object memory continues to third. So static is continuous memory technically, and non-static is discrete memory. This is simple, straightforward concept. Nothing else is to be discussed about static and non-static, like how they are accessed, the class names, instance. These should not be definitions at all. So continuous memory, discrete memory, that right? Then as a developer, when you will use static and non-static, when we need continuous operations, then we go with static members. When we need discrete operations, then we go with non-static. What do you mean by static operations? The memory allocated for the first object should continue for others. So disk non-static, that is what actually, in web pages we call static page, dynamic page. What is a page? Dynamic page. Static page means it contains same information to show across any number of requests, continuous. Dynamic means every time new. Every time new means according to request, the response will be. Dynamic pages means the pages which generates a response according to the request. That means dynamic page, static page, initially they look same. Dynamic page, static page is not about how they look, about how they respond. A static page will respond always same. Dynamic page will change the response. That means it is not how it looks, it is about how it responds. Static pages will always respond same. Always respond same. Dynamic pages will do different. For example, see here. This is some tutorialspoint.com, something like this. This is a website. And when I open this website, you see this is the page. And this is the page, same for everybody. Am I right? Everyone will see the same thing. Everyone will see the same thing. This is a static page. Usually static pages will have extension like .htm or .html. Now you can see this is a static page. It is a static page. Now let's open one page, some W3 schools, or I will put here like inoxmovies.com. Okay. Now this is a page. Here you can see here. Now tell me, is this page that you are watching is a static page or dynamic? It is also same for everybody, na? It is also same for everybody, right? It is also same for everybody. That means you open now, you will see the same screen. Am I right? Right. Then is it static or dynamic? It is not static. Why? Because will it respond same to everybody? It will not respond same to everybody because I will select a different movie, right? I will select a different movie, different timing and different options. And you see book, it will respond according to my request. It is not same. In that case, dynamic pages usually have extension ASP, ASPX, ASPX, JSP, PHP. These are dynamic pages. Now you see, I click on book, then it will get the information, and this is a dynamic page. ASPX means it is designed in .NET technology. JSP, Java, PHP. ASPX means .NET. So technically the point is how they respond is static or dynamic, not how they look. A static page and dynamic page may look same initially, but they don't respond same. That depends on that, right? So this is basically one new thing which is not there in JavaScript. JavaScript don't have static members. Static and non-static members, classification, right? So here we have to define by using this technique. So this is one new thing you will see in classes. The members can be static and non-static. Another important new you will see is access modifiers. These are also not there in JavaScript. So class have access modifiers like public, like private, and protected. These three are access modifiers. So JavaScript class don't have access modifiers. Access modifiers, that is advantage is code level security. So public, private, and protector are access modifiers of TypeScript. Now we don't have this protection in JavaScript. So JavaScript classes don't have public, private, protected. Now here we have, what is difference? Public means, public is nothing but it is accessible. It is accessible within the class, and it is accessible outside the class, from any location, and any object. From any location, any object, you can access public. You can access within the class, we can access outside the class from any location and any object. I will tell you that, we will see. Private means it is accessible only within the class. It is accessible only within the class, not outside the class. Protected means it is accessible within the class. All are accessible within the class. But remember, it is accessible outside class only in derived class, and only by using derived class object. This is the restriction for protected. Protected is accessible outside the class, but not everywhere. Only in derived class. In derived class also only by using derived class object. That is the restriction for that. Protected members. We will see that point here. See, that means now I am creating here. So we are creating here class, and the class is demo or say product. Okay, in the product we have public. So we have the member name. It is what type? String. We will put some string. So then private, another one is price. It is what type? Number. So 0. And we have protected. protected stock, it is a Boolean type, some true or false, like this. Now I am creating another class derived. This derived class extends product. That is the base class. Now what happens here? Here we have a print method. Suppose we just designed a print method. Outside this derived class, I am creating an object for new product base class. Right? Now which member is accessible? Out of those three, which member is accessible? This object belongs to base class na? Which member is accessible? Only name is accessible. You cannot access private. You cannot access protected. Protected is also not accessible. OBJ, you can access only name. Public is accessible outside, inside, and from any location. Suppose you create here OBJ is derived class object. Now which member is accessible? Now OBJ is derived class object. Which member is accessible? Again name only. Protected is not accessible because rule is accessible outside the class only in derived class. And using derived class object. It is a derived class object, but it is not in derived class. Outside the derived class, then you can access only name. Understood? So then how to access a protected member? Protected member is accessible inside the same class. You can access all of them. Outside the class, it is accessible only in derived class. In derived class also, we are creating an object for new product. Base class object we are creating. And through that OBJ, it is not accessible. Only name is accessible. That means in derived class, you have to create which object? Derived class object. Then only now you can access the protected member stock. So what is protected? Protected is accessible within the class, outside the class, but only for derived classes. And only by using derived class object. Not by using base class objects. Only derived class object, derived class location. That is the restriction for protected actually. So protected is accessible outside the class only in derived class and only by using derived class object. That is restrictions. Only these three access modifiers we have: public, private, and protect. So class is having similar features but some new concepts. JavaScript class, TypeScript class, all same with property, methods, and constructors and access. But newly you will come across with static, non-static members. And another one is access modifiers. Access modifiers. That is about the class. And class extensions are same. That means inheritance is same. Inheritance is same. Inheritance is extendability, na? It is same. But class will support only single and multi-level. Multiple inheritance is not supported. Why? The question, why multiple inheritance is not supported for class? Why multiple inheritance is not supported for class? One rule also I told you. Extension rule I told you now while learning about class component. That base class constructor must be called in derived class. That rule I explained already when we discussed about class components, right? So you must call the base class constructor in derived class. It is mandatory, right? Yeah. So why multiple inheritance is not supported for classes? Multiple inheritance is supported for interface, right? It is not supported for classes. Why? What is the answer? Why multiple inheritance is not supported for class? So actually the technical answer for this is because of constructor deadlock. Constructor deadlock. That is the technical answer actually. Constructor deadlock. Many times you will hear from people learning OOPs like ambiguity issues will come. Ambiguity is the word you will often listen about this when we ask about why multiple inheritance not supported. Right? But actual concept is constructor deadlock. What is constructor deadlock actually? So the concept of constructor deadlock is nothing but generally, suppose we have super classes here. So we have super 1, we have super 2, and we have super 3. 3 super classes. Every class have a constructor. Every class is having a constructor. Now we are creating a derived class. We are creating a derived class, and derived class so is having it is also having a constructor. Now in that we have to call the superclass constructor. In derived class we have to call the superclass constructor, and derived class extends super 1 and super 2 and super 3. Suppose we are designing like this. Now here the memory is allocated for the class. In that memory, what it have to do is the memory is allocated for the class, but in that memory what should happen is, so we have 3 super classes. As per the rules of OOP language, superclass constructor must be loaded into memory. Before the base class derived class constructor, base class constructor must be loaded into memory. Now what will happen is, which constructor will load into memory? Super 1, 2 or 3. All are having same priority. Then what happens is, the constructor of super 1 will be waiting for constructor of super 2 to load. And constructor of super 2 is waiting for constructor of super 1 to load. That means all these constructors are waiting for each other to load. This leads to a situation called deadlock. I hope you learned in multi-threading concepts, you will learn about a situation called deadlock. Deadlock means you have mutex and you have deadlock. These are all multi-threading concepts. Deadlock means in a process, only one task is allowed. In a process, only one task is allowed. Now 2 tasks are waiting. And 2 tasks are waiting for each other. No task is going into process. Then that is deadlock. That means constructors leads to deadlock situation. Due to that, inheritance is not finished. Because constructors are not going into memory. That is the situation. Why this is possible for interface? Because interface don't have constructor. So interface don't have constructor, no issue. That means the constructor is the main reason why multiple inheritance is not supported. That is constructor deadlocks. Why multiple inheritance supported for interfaces? Interface don't have constructor. Interface can't have same name members. Interface also can have same name members. For example, we have interface. So this is version 1 interface. In that we have name. This name is a string type. And we have price. This price is a number type. So number type. Now we have interface. This is version 2. Version 2 extends. Extends. Which one? Version 1. In this again I written name as string type. Right? I return stock as boolean type. That means same name members are used again. No issue. Then what will happen? Only one will work. Nothing, because they are just rules. That means now what I'm using, let obj, it is of version 2 type. Version 2 type. And you can see here, it is using, this object is using, you see, name, price, and stock. It is using name, price, and stock. And you see here, I'm using name. I'm using name. That means I'm using name as some TV, and I'm using price as some 0. So price is 0. Some I'm using stock as some true, like this. And you see, this name is coming from version 2. It overwrites, that's it. Now, why multiple is supported here? Multiple is supported because they don't have a constructor. There is no constructor in interface. Right? The reason for interface supporting multiple inheritance and class not supporting, that is because of constructor. We call this as constructor deadlocks. Constructor deadlock. That is the reason about why multiple inheritance is not supported. Right? If anybody says like same name members may be there, then you can ask that if not there, it is possible. Right? If same name members are not there, then class will support multiple inheritance. It will not support even there are no same name members. Why? Because that is not the reason. The reason is constructor. That means loading memory, loading constructor into memory. That is what the reason about multiple inheritance not supported for class. That is option. Now here we need to know one more important here. Means in the OOPS, we have to know about abstraction. How this abstraction works. Polymorphism, abstraction, how they works. That we'll see in next session. Right? In the next session, we will discuss about polymorphism, abstraction, how they work, what is the responsibility of them. So that then we can have some more new features. With that, we can build React application now, right? First, we will discuss some more features which are there. Okay. Monday, we'll continue, right?